India is so vast and offers so much to travelers that there's no real bad time to visit. When the humidity becomes unbearable at sites around the popular Golden Triangle Loop, it's peak hiking season in the mountainous north. Likewise, when temperatures drop to below zero at altitude, it's optimum beach weather for Goa and the beach resorts along the west coast. Picking when to go to India, then, is all about what you plan to do. Whether you're dreaming of sunning yourself silly on the beach, sampling street food in bustling cities, or trekking between hill stations, here's our guide to the best time to visit India. High season. December to March, best time to hit the beach. It's no surprise peak tourist season coincides with the months where India's popular beach resorts, namely Goa, receive the best weather. These hot, clear days are perfect for lazy afternoons on the sand and splashing in the calm waters. It's also generally pleasant weather across most of the country, with warm days and cool nights, even in big cities like Delhi and Mumbai. This wonderful weather does bring tourist crowds though, and hotel prices are at their highest during these months. That said, December to February is not a good time for hiking around the country's various hill stations, with freezing temperatures at high altitudes. Following March, India gets really hot and then really wet. Shoulder season. August-November, best time for exploring the whole country. Shoulder season, coming after the main monsoon season, is a great time to visit India for those looking for a bit of everything, not just the best spot of sand on the beach, with fewer crowds and good bargains to be found on accommodation. Though monsoon rains persist through to September, the rains will likely last only an hour or two each day, which will leave the air feeling fresher and the countryside looking greener. For hikers, passes to Ladakh and the high Himalaya are open from June to September. Low season. April to July, best time to avoid the crowds. Low season sees cities reaching unbearable levels of heat during May, before the arrival of the monsoon, which brings draining humidity and stunning downpours. Tourist crowds are thin on the ground, making visits to popular sites less hectic, and accommodation prices are low throughout most of the country, though beachside hotels in Goa tend to completely close from May to September. This is, however, a great time to make for the hills in the north, which are cool and perfect for hiking, though you'll find plenty of people doing the same thing. January post-monsoon cool lingers throughout the country, though it's downright cold in the mountains. This moderate weather and several major festivals make it a popular time to travel. Book ahead. Among the festivals taking place in January are Delhi's Republic Day celebrations, involving vast military parades, and the Hindu festival of Sankranti, celebrated in different iterations across India, with gift-giving and cow decorating popular, along with mass kite flying in Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. Key events. Republic Day, Sankranti. February. This is a good time to be in India, with balmy weather in most non-mountainous areas. It's still peak travel season, which means plenty of sunbathing, but also skiing. Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand have some fine skiing and snowboarding for all levels from January to March. An added bonus for those traveling between the sites of the so-called Golden Triangle during February is Taj Mahotsav, a 10-day carnival of culture, cuisine and crafts featuring 400 artisans from all over India, and enough regional food to induce a curry coma. Key events. Taj Mahotsav. March. The last month of high season, March is full-on hot in most of India, with rains starting in the northeast region. Wildlife, including elephants, tigers and leopards, become easier to spot in the country's national parks, as the animals emerge to find water ahead of the monsoon. March is also the month of India's most colorful festival, Holi, where Hindus celebrate the beginning of spring by dousing anyone in range with water and colored gulal powder. Celebrations are most vibrant in the north of the country. Key events. Holi. April. The heat has officially arrived in most places, which means you can get deals on accommodation and avoid major tourist crowds at popular sites like the Taj Mahal. The northeast, meanwhile, is wet, but it's peak time for visiting Sikkim and Highland West Bengal. Religious events this month include Mahavir Jayanti, which commemorates the birth of Jainism's 24th and most important Tirthankar, teacher and enlightened being, and Rama Navami, where Hindus celebrate Rama's birth with processions, music, and enactments of scenes from the Ramayana, an epic religious Indian text. Ramadan also typically falls in April, which can see some Muslim-owned businesses close during the day. Key events: Mahavir Jayanti, Rama Navami, Ramadan. May it's hot almost everywhere, incendiary, in fact. Festivals take a back seat as humidity builds up, awaiting the release of the rain. Hill stations are hopping, though, and in the mountains, it's pre-monsoon trekking season. Muslims celebrate the end of Ramadan with 3 days of festivities. Prayers, shopping, gift-giving and, for women and girls, mehndi, henna designs, may all be part of the celebrations. Key events: Eid al-Fitr. June is low season because of the heat, but it's a good time to trek up north, as the pass is open to Ladakh. The rainy season starts just about everywhere else, making national park access tricky. Rath Yatra, the chariot festival, in June or July sees effigies of Lord Jagannath, Vishnu incarnated as Lord of the Universe, and his siblings carried on vast, colorful chariots, most famously in Puri, Odisha, Orissa. Millions come to see the festivities. Key events: Rath Yatra. July. It should be raining almost everywhere now, but flooding causes problems in many regions. Consider visiting Ladakh, where the weather's surprisingly dry and pleasant, or do a rainy season meditation retreat, an ancient Indian tradition. August. The monsoon should still be going strong in August. Tropical areas such as Kerala and Goa boast lush, green jungle, and it's often raining only a few hours a day, which keeps tourist crowds pleasantly thin and accommodation prices low. As an added incentive, Kerala's exhilarating boat races take place on the second Sunday of August. Elsewhere, there are flag-hoisting ceremonies and parades on the 15th of August to celebrate India's independence from Britain in 1947. The biggest celebrations are in Delhi, where the Prime Minister addresses the nation from the Red Fort, and there are events such as pigeon racing and kite flying in Old Delhi. Key events: Independence Day, Nehru Trophy Boat Race. September. The rain is petering out, but temperatures are still relatively high, and the monsoon is usually finished in places such as Rajasthan, which can be surprisingly green. Autumn trekking season begins mid-month in the Himalaya. October. This is when the travel season starts to kick off in earnest. October is prime shoulder season, bringing mostly good weather, with reasonably comfy temperatures and lots of post-rain greenery. There's also still comparatively little crowds with the incoming high season. Rivers are full up after the rains, making for spectacular, thundering white waterfalls. This is also the season for rafting in some areas. As for festivals, colorful Dussehra celebrates the victory of Hindu god Rama over demon king Ravana and the triumph of good over evil. It's big in Kulu. More than 200 deities are carried into the town on palanquins, and festivities last a week. Key events: Dussehra. November. The climate is blissful in most places, still hot, but not uncomfortably so, but the southern monsoon sweeps through Tamil Nadu and Kerala. This is a good time for uncrowded beach bathing, and, at the opposite end of the scale, camel purchasing, as the famous Pushkar Camel Fair comes to town, a fair that attracts 200,000 people, who bring some 50,000 camels, horses and cattle. Two big festivals also take place in November: Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights, with fireworks aplenty, and Nanak Jayanti, the birthday of Guru Nanak, founder of Sikhism. The latter is celebrated with prayer, kirtan, devotional singing, and processions for 3 days, especially in Punjab and Haryana. Key events: Pushkar Camel Fair, Nanak Jayanti, Diwali, sometimes falls in October. December is peak tourist season, and no wonder. You're guaranteed glorious weather, except in the chilly mountains, the humidity's low, the mood's festive and the beaches are blissful. As a result, accommodation prices peak. Another thing that peaks in December is marriage ceremonies, and you may see many a Bharat, bridegroom's procession, featuring a white horse, nervous protagonist and fireworks, on your travels. Christian Goa, and parts of Kerala and the northeast region, come alive in the lead-up to Christmas. Mass is celebrated on December 24th, and Christmas Day is celebrated with feasting and fireworks. Key events: Christmas Day.